movie market catalogue from S&P Parker, the movie market, so you can get some V pickies. I will actually be dealing with those as well. I passed them all up and sent it off a bundle of about 250 so far to the movie market, who will in turn send you a catalogue, all right? So that is in hand, and you'll get a catalogue very shortly indeed and get your V pictures. All right, so that's sorted out. Also heard this week from the Freedom League. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, Freedom League. It's a V fan club, and they've sent me the Freedom Bulletin. And we're hoping in the next couple of weeks to be finding out a little bit more about the Freedom League. And you never know, perhaps have a guest in. Let us know exactly what they do, and also perhaps how you can join the Freedom League, all right, a V fan club. I'm also, at the moment, trying to process a full list of all the characters in V. Diana, Donovan, Kyle. I'm trying to get a full list of all of their fan clubs. Obviously, as it's an American series, and the actors are mainly American, they're all in America, the fan clubs. But I'm trying to process a list of those, and we'll get a fact sheet drawn up so you can get in one of those, send in for one of those, and I'll also give them out on Late Night Late. And I'm trying to get hold of some books, and I understand there's a video game. In fact, thank you very much to Becky Martell, who called earlier to say, she actually phoned up and said, there's a video game, Graham, so we'll try and get hold of one of those. In fact, Becky said, could I say hello to Sean, I think it was Liu, and dedicate this week's episode to him, so hello, Sean. Also found out this week, possibly V's youngest viewers, Vicky and Lisa Thorne. Now, Vicky is age 7, and Lisa is just 3 years old, so they're big fans of V. Possibly the youngest, unless you know different, of course. Also, got to say hello to Mark Wall of Southwick in West Sussex. He'd like that dedicated to him. And James McMullen, thank you very much indeed for your letter as well. We'll deal with more of your letters after this week's episode. Good stuff. I really enjoyed that this week. Next week's episode of V, at the same time, is called The Dissident. And I must also dedicate that episode that we just seen to Colin Strong from Hagley Road, that's right, in Reading. He's 14 and says he's a real big fan of Jane Badler, who plays Diana, because I like it when she eats mice. I personally find it really quite revolting. When they did the sketch in there with the mice and the tarantula, did you see that? I've got to be honest, I'm being a bit peckish this morning. I was tucking into a pizza, and it really put me off. It was really revolting, but there we go. Good episode of V, very exciting this week. Particularly when they sort of put that man to death. Did you see when his face was peeling off and he was a lizard again? Revolting. Horrible, horrible. Well, last week, you may remember, I showed you a picture of Diana. In fact, have a look at it now. This is the picture I showed you last week of Diana. Came in from Elizabeth, from St Richard's Road in Deal, Kent. And I said, anyone else who can draw any characters from V, send them in this week. Send them in and we'll have a look at them. I've had a couple more in. This one, for instance, I think that's meant to be possibly not Donovan, seeing as he's in a visitor's uniform. Anyway, very good. Friendship is universal. That's from Elaine May in Landport, Portsmouth. In fact, one of several she sent him. This one, though, definitely is Donovan, and that's from Nicholas Campbell from Eastbourne Road in Lowing Willingdon, Eastbourne. Thank you very, very much indeed for those. If you're a budding artist, if you reckon you can do any drawings of any characters in V for me, drop them in the post to me. Love to hear from you. This is the address to write to. It's to me, Graham Rogers, Market Late Night Late, TVS Television Centre, Northern, Southampton, SO9 5HZ. Graham Rogers, Late Night Late, TVS Television Centre, Northern, Southampton, SO9 5HZ. Very pleased to hear from you this week if you're a budding artist to get that in. It's not always the way. You probably noticed I've got a bit of a cold, and isn't it always the way when you've got a cold? It sort of starts in your head, comes down, you get all blocked up, and then your throat starts going. And it's at times like these when you don't need your throat to seize up, but we shall soldier on. As I was mentioning before this week's episode of V, there is a series of V books. We've talked briefly about the books in the past, but I got onto the publishers of the people that print the V books this week, and they're going to be sending me down a few of the books, hopefully a complete set, which we'll be giving away in a special competition in future weeks on Late Night Late, so look out for that. Could be a winner and win all those books. Also, Becky Martell from St Peter Port in Guernsey, I mentioned Becky before the programme. She called me tonight here at the Late Night Late studio and said there's, in fact, a video game. You can buy a computer video game of V. So we're trying to get hold of some of those and have a look at those. Also, trying to get hold of all the fan clubs. So what I'm going to look to do is compile a list of all the fan clubs of all the people in V, because we've had loads and loads of requests to wanting to join the Jane Badler fan club, for instance, or one of the other characters' fan clubs. I'm working on that at the moment, and hopefully in the next few weeks I'll actually have a list compiled which I can send you, or actually print it up on the screen as well, and show you exactly all the fan clubs. They are all, I'm afraid, though, in America, But you never know. If you're really keen to join them, then it's well worth applying to them. Also had a letter in here this week. Oh, actually, before we do that, I've got another picture of V, which came in tonight. I didn't actually get a chance to get this put up on the screen. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that if I lean forward, yeah? Yeah, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. Lots of different things going on there. Thank you very much, Ian Richards from Meadow End in Liphook, Hants, for sending that in. Very nice of you. Keep all the pictures coming in, as I say. Also got a letter here from Vanessa, I think it's Vanessa Gaia, from Farnborough Road in Farnborough. Thank you very, very much indeed for your letter, Vanessa. In brief, she says, did you know that June Chadwick, who of course plays Lydia in V, is a British actress? Didn't actually, so thanks for pointing that out. And she says, love watching Late Night Late and all blah-de-blah-de-blah, it's excellent and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very, very much indeed. Right, coming up on Late Night Late, the news headlines, and then it's Night Network. Yes, Late Night Late, heading up towards V, of course. We've had some really, really wonderful art in this week. Some really beautiful pictures. This one, I have to say, I think is the best of the week. I showed it earlier. Have another look at this. It's sort of half between the human face and half between an alien. That is absolutely brilliant. I've got to be careful with it because it's been drawn in pastels. Really, really good. That comes from Andrew Seymour from Ashley Peace in Ramsbury, Wiltshire. Thank you very, very much indeed, Andrew. And as requested, we'll parcel that up very carefully and send it back to you. Thank you very much for that. We've had literally loads and loads of drawings sent in. I'll try and show as many as I can. There's one of Donovan there. That's from Nicholas Campbell. You can't really see that very well. It's done in pencil. Pencil isn't too good if you're sending in a drawing of anyone in V. As much colour as you can use, really, the better, as you saw with Andrews there. Anyway, Nicholas Campbell, thank you very much indeed for those. Got a brilliant pencil drawing here of Diana. This is from Natasha Duncan. Absolutely brilliant, that. Very good indeed. That's Diana in the human form, and then becoming an alien, which, again, you can't see too well. But never mind. Natasha, thank you very much for those. There's one here, again, of Diana. Got to mention this one because it comes from Clinton Gill, who's aged 16. Clinton, thank you very much for your drawing. He'd like to dedicate this, especially for his mum, because it's her birthday. We're not going to mention, because it's not right to give away a lady's age. It's his mum's birthday, anyway, on December the 11th, and he'd like to say happy birthday, early happy birthday later on. But a V comic, I think it's probably from the States. But it's really, really good. It's got all the V stories in there. And it comes from Matthew Haynes from East Telbury in Essex. So, Matthew, thank you very much indeed. Quickly, I must say hello to here, Malika, a lovely wife by the name of Malika. Happy birthday is the message. And that comes from Phil and Nikki and also baby Jordan. And after V, we'll be saying hello to a very special lady by the name of Hillary. Be doing that after V anyway. Right, it's time now for this week's episode, though. It's called Reflections in Terror. Say happy birthday, early happy birthday there, so happy birthday Clinton's mum. Before we get into this week's episode of V, last week I showed a picture which was drawn very nicely by James Ballard. Jane comes from Southsea in Hampshire, and I then went on to say it was by somebody totally different. So James, I apologise, I'm sorry about that, but thank you for your letter this week, and we'll dedicate this week's episode of V especially for you. It's The Dissident.
Last time on V.
10 people to the mine. We don't want to keep Diana waiting.
Well, obviously there's a leak, but who?
Julie Parrish.
Do you have any proof?
I will.
Diana gets her hands on that cobalt. She'll have enough laser ammo to blow the World Liberation Front right into the sea.
Sending your thug into my home, violating my privacy. Who the hell do you think you are?
I love you. If you're gonna be out there risking your life for me, I want to be there.
We'll need to create a diversion.
Take it from me. I know what a man likes.
Put an awful lot of our trust into somebody you don't know.
You don't trust anybody.
Keeps me alive.
Have the cobalt and the resistance at Willow's Point.
We'll be there.
Next time you play Lone Ranger, remember to bring along your bulletproof vest.
God, exciting stuff. Next week's episode of V, which will be back at the same time, is Reflections in Terror. You know, I'm really getting into V. I will not miss V. I never do. It's brilliant. I've got this thing about Jennifer Cook now, who plays Elizabeth. I think she's quite nice. Very nice indeed. Just sort of developing this thing about her. I have to get hold of the movie market for a photo. If you've sent in a letter saying, can you give out my address to the movie market, then I will have done so, okay? And very shortly indeed, you'll be receiving their catalogue through the post. So that's cleared that little matter up. Also, I've had loads of letters this week from people saying, what about the miniseries? Are we going to see the miniseries? Have you managed to crack that for us, Graham? Well, I'll tell you what I've done. I'm still sort of having a go at those important people that can put the miniseries on, and it's looking good at the moment for the early part of 1989. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. A couple more photos or pictures here that have been drawn this week for me. There's one of Diana and Donovan and one of the aliens. That comes from John Livingston from Gore's Ride in Finchamstead, Wokingham. Thank you very much, John. Also, one here of Ham. Nice colourful one, that one. And that one comes from Lee Shand. Lee Shand, thank you very much indeed, from Maidstone in Kent. That's marvellous. Thank you very much. Now, the viewer's choice for this coming Wednesday. Brilliant. And next week, V's back at the same time. Ham and Kyle are captured by the visitors next week in an episode called The Conversion. Now, that mention that I said I give to a lady by the name of Hillary. I've had a letter in this week from Philip Wally. No laughing, please. No, it's not funny. No laughing. Philip Wally writes in from Portsmouth, and he's, "Stay, Graham, loads of nice things. I've got somebody being very rude in my ear at the moment. Please don't do that, Peter. It's not very nice." Anyway, we got loads of nice things been said about Late Night Late, blah-de-blah-de-blah, and he's down as a full-time student at Portsmouth Polytech for a year, and his fiancée, Hilary Rawcliffe, is down for a week in Portsmouth to visit. And he'd just like me to say, Hilary, I love you very much indeed, and it's of, oh, good grief. But there we go. Hilary, hello to you. Hope you're enjoying your visit down here, and Philip, thank you very much for the letter. Nice to hear from you. Sorry about the surname and whatnot, but there we go. Thank you also to Matthew Haynes, who sent this in. We showed it earlier. It's the V magazine. If you know if these are generally available, can you let me know, please? Because I'd be really interested in getting a hold of one of those. Also, in V, as you know, they survive quite often by eating mice, white mice. Do you know how they actually eat these? That's how they eat the white mice. Solves that mystery, doesn't it? Right, V's back next week, and we're back in a moment with a little bit of extra called Opera Blank.